kid is in this side stage. I look over and this kid took off his Santa hat and is fucking wailing on this other kid with his Santa hat, and the kid is like half fetal position while like still standing, like, stop, please stop. And the principal comes up and yanks his hat away and waves his finger at him. And then like after that, I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, I gotta come here every single year just for this event. They don't check anybody when they come in. There's no tickets. You could just plan for it to be in December every year, and I'll be there. I'll ask when it is. I'll walk in. It'll be on the board. Bam. I'll be there every year because I just want to see that shit, because that was fucking hysterical.
Nice.
Couldn't believe I was there.
I fucking love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that story. That was so funny. That was so funny. Kids do the damnedest things too. Like if you hand a kid a microphone, you never know what's coming out.
Yeah.
A, B, C. And it was just like that. Wasn't even in song form. Oh, what about you, B-Word?
So I thought of this, and the story that I came up with is an actual story. It happened to me because I was actually the perpetrator. But when I was a kid, I lived in southern Nevada, and my dad lived in northern Nevada. So for summer breaks and winter breaks and that sort of stuff, my mom would put me on a flight on Southwest Airlines to go from Vegas to Reno. And this is before September 11th. So this is where parents could walk you all the way up to the gate. Like people could walk you up to all the way up to the gate. When you arrive, your family's at the gate, like all that sort of stuff. There wasn't TSA. If there was TSA, it wasn't like what it is now. But I remember my mom telling me, hey, we didn't get a chance to get breakfast or whatever. Like, are you hungry before you hop on the flight? And I was like, yeah, sure, I could eat. That's not a problem. Look at me right now. So we stop at there was this Taco Bell in the Southwest gate. And so we go to Taco Bell and I get whatever I got from Taco Bell, and I hop on the plane. And when I hop on the plane, I always got a window seat. And there's 3 seats in my aisle, or in my row. So there's me, and then there's a lady, and then a guy. And I don't know if they were married or if they were just dating or they were engaged, but there was some romantic relationship between these two that was happening. However, when the plane got up, I don't know if you've ever flown from Vegas to Reno. There's quite a bit of turbulence, or at least there was at the time. And so I had also had Taco Bell, and the Taco Bell wasn't sitting very well with me. So when the seatbelt sign went away, I hopped up and I excused myself and I went to the lavatory, and I sat in there and I put some water on my face, and I was like, okay, like I know I'm going to get sick, but I'm not like puking. So I tried to poop. And so I did all these things and nothing worked. And then we get turbulence. So the lights come back on. The pilot says, hey, everybody back to their seats. So I'm like, fuck. All right. So I go back to my seat, sit down, I buckle in, and the lady looks at me and she goes, honey, are you okay? And I went to go respond to her, and I look and I went, I puked all over this bitch. She was wearing my Taco Bell. And then she looks at me with like the biggest eyes, and she goes, what the fuck? And her husband, boyfriend, whatever, like looks at her and says something. And she looks at him and she goes, all over him.
Yes.
So at this point, I feel fucking amazing, right? But I'm looking at my lunch on this chick's garments, and I'm looking at whatever she ate on his garments. And then at that point, the stewardess is trying to make sure that everybody's buckled up. So she comes walking down the aisle, and dude pukes right in front of her into the aisle.
Yes.
Hostess or stewardess, whatever you call them, slipped in his puke, falls down back first. She's wearing his puke now. I don't know exactly how many people puked, but what I do know is that I started that shit. And so when I get off the flight, my dad's at the gate and he's like, hey, how was your flight? And I was like, I got kind of sick. And because I was a kid, they take me out first, right? Like that's how they do on planes. And so my dad's like, yeah. So my dad's like, what do you mean you got sick? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude.
And so I'm like, so my dad's like, how was your plane flight? And I'm like, it was fine, except for I got sick. And my dad's like, you got sick? And I'm like, yeah, I threw up on that lady there. And I point to her and she's covered in vom, dude. And so I start telling my dad this story, and yeah, it was fucking hilarious. So yeah, that was my I can't believe it moment. And the funny thing is, they'll tell people that story, and people are like, that never happened. That never happened. No, it fucking
can't
did.
believe it.
It fucking did. So that's mine. What about you, Beezy?
I watched a dude get run over.
Oh shit!
All right, we got we got to hear this one.
So,
I probably saw
Did
it.
he
too.
deserve it?
no, I mean probably. So we were club hopping one night, and all the bars are shutting down, and we got VIP parking up at the very front. And right there where we were parked was the driveway to get into the main parking lot. And in Lubbock, they have just a shitload of bars all huddled together. And you have that tiny ass parking lot for all of those bars. So we get in the car and we're sitting there smoking a cigarette, and we see some shit going down, and two chicks started fighting, and we're like, all right, this is going to be good to watch. So we sat there and we watched the chicks fight, and the dudes got into it. Then it got separated, and then the cops were called. While they were en route, old dude was walking by the entrance driveway, and one of the chicks just fucking boof, dropped it, landed right on top of him, jumped out of the car, and hauled ass. So we're like, what the fuck just happened here? So we get out of the car, and me, my buddy, and I guess 3 or 4 other guys lifted this car off of the dude, and somebody had pulled him out. And I was like, oh my Jesus. So the cops literally showed up right at that point. They're like, all right, everybody, I need your numbers and all that shit. So I ended up talking with the detective like 2 days later. He called me down to the police station and was asking me what happened. So I gave him my recollection of the events. And I was like, so I don't know, can you tell me this? Did he survive? And he's like, actually, yeah, he did. He just has a couple broken ribs. Like,
Wow.
Jesus Christ, I don't believe it.
And that,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, is why women shouldn't drive. So,
Agreed. Further enhances it.
Yeah.
oh shit, that's good stuff.
And men's insurance rates are higher.
I know this is bullshit, isn't it?
All right, Nomi.
I've seen a lot of shit, but one of my favorite stories was, was I like 19, maybe 20, and I worked at Lowe's, the home improvement store. And the problem with Lowe's was working there was, you could have a job. One day you're working swing shift, the next day you're working opening shift, blah blah blah. So I'm out partying late one night, and I got the 5:30 opening shift. So I'm coming in late, still smelling like alcohol. And our manager of that department was a dyke. The rest of us were guys. And she was the guy of her relationship, so it was perfect, right? And she wore men's cologne.
Just a bunch of dudes.
And just a bunch of dudes, right? Working in paint.
Yep.
And
Working in paint.
so I get there, and it's just Tracy. And I was like, oh my God, Tracy, I'm so sorry. She's like, yeah, no worries. She's like, you're only like 15 minutes late. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go to the bathroom, get my apron, all that shit, come back, and she's helping this guy in the spray paint. And I come around, and I happen to notice that he's got a nice little Hershey Kiss right on his khaki shorts, right? So
Oh, no.
I kind of look at her, and she's looking at me, and I was just like kind of like told her like keep his attention. And I whip out my phone, and I get up right behind him so I can snap a picture of this shit, literally.
3 megapixel camera.
Right. So it might have been 4. My phone, it was like the Kyocera like flip up phone kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The sidekick.
Yeah, not the sidekick. It was something before the sidekick. It was like the whole screen would slide up, right? And anyway, so later that day, there's a guy that works in there, Joe, and I'm showing him the picture, and we're like laughing, aha, like that's wild, crazy story, right? Fast forward like a week, and it's busy. It's a Saturday. We're working in paint, and I see this guy, and I'm like, this guy looks really fucking familiar, right? And I told Joe, I said, I'm gonna go see if I can help this guy. He looks really familiar. So I hop over the counter, and as I turn, he had already turned the other way, and I looked at Joe, and I said, holy shit. And he's like, what? And I'm like, it's shit stain. And he's got the same shorts with the same shit stain on it. And he's like, no fucking way. And I said, bro, I'm going to go talk to him. I want you to get up right behind him and check this shit out because it's still there. Sure shit. This guy still had the same fucking shorts with the same exact shit. Who knows how long this shit stain was on his fucking brown eye of his khakis, but it was there the whole fucking time. And
Wow.
I just remember like having to keep composure while your friend was behind this dude, checking out this dude's shit stain on his fucking shorts. And it was like, oh, it's just a good memory. It was a good memory. Like just the fact that this was like a week later. And it was like, man, if I saw it again, I'm giving it a courtesy smell. Like, how old is this thing? How old is this thing?
It's been there for 2 years. I don't have any stain spray.
You're just dipping a fry in it to see.
I think the only other like shit story that's like super
Oh,
fucking
it's gravy.
comical is, which I had told on our previous show, was when I shit my pants when I worked at the airport. And it was just, you know, it's one of those things. Like everybody kind of shits their pants at some point, but man, it sucked. The good thing was it was at the end of my shift, so it was literally like go in, throw my underwear in the trash, clean up, and go home. Right? So
Honestly, we can go down these stories for quite a while. You know, like 4 or 5 just came right back to my head. Just, you know, if we're around a campfire with a beer, these are the stories that we would share for 4 hours, you know?
oh yeah.
Yep.
So good topic, Stoned. Well, with that, we're going to go to our next segment, and that is...
I'm coming in blind.
All right, Stone, coming in blind. What do you got for us?
We're coming in blind. I want you to do your top 2 impersonations right now.
Fuck.
Let's go, baby.
Up to, I can't even do it impersonation.
God damn it. I
I'm
can't
guessing
do
that was Christopher
impersonations.
Walken.
Kind of. Sometimes I'm like half in, half out with him. It's not my best one, but it's one of my favorite ones to do. Because just every now and then, I'm just going to bust it out. Because why not? It's fun. Don't be a bunch of little godly men. You're coming in here. We're going to lift. We'll live powerful. Very good.
I can't wait to hear B words. I'm gonna mute myself.
I can't fucking do impressions to save my life, so I'm just gonna knock these out. All right. There we go. That's Matthew McConaughey.
I almost put him on the list, and I was like,
that is the most cop-out bullshit.
Hey, it's an impression. It's an impression. Let's see. What's another one that I can knock out? Oh yeah. There's Macho Man Randy Savage,
good one.
and then I'm gonna go with
No, there's only 2. There's only 2. He said 2.
Top 2.
It's coming in blind. It's
Yeah,
3.
it's AJ's thing. He said top
Okay.
2.
Top 2.
Perfect. Then I got my 2.
All right, I'm gonna do my 2, and then BZ can go because I'm just as bad as B word. So my first one that I love to do, and I did it on our first episode, is I love to do the Stephen Hawking and that's
Talk
one of
about
my
a cop out.
that's one of my favorite ones to do. My next one that's a complete cop out that I absolutely love to do is this one. And that's Helen Keller. So what do you guys got?
I personally thought she went, but you know,
Oh my
to each
god!
their own.
I wasn't ready for that. That was freaking hilarious, dude. Oh my Jesus! All right, so I actually like doing impersonations, so this one's fun.
Hell yeah.
I'll bring you guys back to Mad TV back in the day. Do y'all remember Miss Swan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he's looking like a man. So yes, I go to the store the other day to go get some pineapples and some other food. And the guy checking me out, so he's looking like a man.
If you actually have your eyes closed, it literally sounds exactly like her. That's fucking
And then
great.